Good morning. Let's all get situated for this morning's Yoga Lean 8-week transformation course master class. So let's come to any easy seated position. Maybe elevating the hips just a bit. And let's jump in with a little bit of mindfulness with the breath, placing one hand on the belly, one hand up on the heart, lowering the chin enough so an egg could roll off your head. And let's just get in touch with the breath in the body. Notice where it is without attempting any manipulation or control of the breath, without thought, without judgment, without expectation or competition, staying in the moment. Feeling for the presence of the breath in the body. Notice where it's going. Where is the path of least resistance? What part of the body is most open to receive the breath? Once we become aware of this place where there is the least resistance, the part of the body that is most open to receive the breath, allow the breath to expand from that effortless place. Feeling as if the breath moves through the whole body, fully filling the lungs. Feel the breath moving to the limbs, to the legs, to the arms, through the crown of the head. And as the breath fully fills the body, eventually moving out from the pores and having a sense of our breath, the pranic force, moving well out and beyond the physical body. At this point, let's shape the breath, filling from the belly through the ribs up to the heart. Pause for a second or two, then exhale, release that, relaxing the heart, the ribs, and the belly. 3-part breath. Inhale, belly, ribs, heart. Exhaling, heart, ribs, belly. And we could pause after the exhale and after the inhale, or just after the inhale. We're using that small pause, kumbhaka, to create just a little more sense of alertness. So this might be a little bit of a Starbucks breath this morning if you haven't had your coffee yet. Inhaling, belly, ribs, heart. Add in a small pause. Then exhale, heart, ribs, belly. Option to close the eyes, perhaps creating more awareness of the breath. Sometimes when we close our eyes, the brain gets busier. If you notice this happening for your mind today, go ahead and keep the eyes open. Establish a drishti, a steady gaze. Looking down towards the floor, past the nose, past the cheeks. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling from the throat with the lips lightly touching. Just a very conservative Ujjayi breath. Inhaling belly, ribs, heart. Pause, exhale, heart, ribs, belly. Exhaling as if we're going to say, aha breath, as if we're going to follow the mirror, keeping the lips lightly touched. We may begin to hear the breath, so the life force may speak back to us. Notice if there's any tension in the jaw. Notice any tension around the eyes. And with that ha breath, with that sense of the life force, relax the muscles in the face, around the jaw, behind the eyes, all the way down to the shoulders, through the trunk of the body, to the hips and the feet. When you're ready, take both hands to the belly. And let's notice if we can encourage the breath to stay low, maintaining stillness in the heart space. Feel for the expansion of the breath in planes that are beyond the frontal plane. So first, we may feel the stomach push out when we inhale. and then gentle compression when we exhale. Then take the breath to the side planes of the body. So think about pushing the breath out to the side, and then draw it in. Take the hands to the low back, around the kidneys and the adrenal glands. Inhale into the low back, and then pull that in. Option to keep the hands on any place where we feel we have the most awareness, the most focus, or the most presence with the breath, with the life force today. Maybe just 3 to 5 more easy breaths. Again, letting go of any judgment, any expectation, any competition. We're breathing, feeling, listening to the body, and staying in the present moment, the essence of Yoga Fit. When you're ready, relax the hands down in front of you. And if you like, you're welcome to take a mudra today, the mudra of Prana mudra, taking the ring fingers and pinky fingers to the tip of the thumb, and then taking your index finger and your middle finger, the peace fingers, taking those and extending them out, Prana mudra. So this is useful in possibly activating acupressure points that are used to improve overall body function, overall circulation of physical or biological functions, and also energetic concepts as well relative to emotional stabilization and energetic stabilizations in the body. So basically, mind, body, spirit centering technique. From here, take the hands down onto your knees, lower the chin, exhale all the way. Pause for a moment, engage the muscles in your pelvic floor. A little bit like a Kegel, but more of a urethral squeeze. So pulling in and up with the muscles of the pelvis. Inhale. On your next exhale, pull the belly button muscles in forcibly with an audible ha. We're moving through the technique of Bastrika. It looks like this. Inhale, pelvic floor muscles lifted. Exhale, relax everything. Inhale, pelvic floor muscles lift. Exhale, belly button in. Bastrika. Let's do about 10 more. Inhale, relax the body. Pause, pelvic floor muscles lift. Active ha. Relax, inhale. Mula Bandha, pelvic lift. Exhale. Just continue with this easy technique. Continue to look down towards the floor. Anchor your gaze. Continue with that ha breath, forcibly pulling the belly button muscles in. Sometimes this is known as a bellows breath. It is an introduction to skull shining, Kapalabhati, breath of fire. One of the health benefits of this breath as we continue on with it is to help with detoxification of the gut, stress hormones, and also possible revving up the metabolism. A couple more. Inhale, pelvic floor lift. Exhale. Just one more. Pause. When you're ready, relax the abdomen, release the hands. Maybe move the wrist around a little bit. From here, let's take the feet out in front of us. If you're on a little bit of a perch, you might want to come down flat onto the floor, especially if you notice that you feel like you might topple over. Let's turn sideways. If you want to have a little more room on your mat, or you can stay facing forward. Take the feet out about as wide as the fleshy hip distance, or maybe a little bit wider. Let's place the hands on the sides or the backs of the thighs. Let's come forward, and as we inhale, we pull up from the belly button and then lift the chin and open the throat. As we exhale, we come back with the belly button, rounding the spine, dropping the neck and the head. So all of the movement's going to initiate, hinge from manipura. It's going to hinge from the stomach energy. Coming forward as we inhale. And then pulling back. Exhale. Using that ha breath again. And maybe keeping the lips pressing together while we do a conservative ha. So integration of ujjayi breath. Inhale through the nose if possible. Exhale back. Coming forward, inhale and back. Let's keep this rhythm, allowing the breath to initiate the movement. So we create that gap, or we create that space as we observe the life force, creating that gap between awareness and action, creating a little more healthy cognitive function, making a gap between awareness and action so that we fully understand that we choose the practice, we choose the experience, we choose the action. Inhaling forward, exhaling back a few more times. Just one more, moving with your own rhythm, with your own unique breath, creating your own practice. When you're ready, let's come to any neutral position. Take the hands back behind the body. We might want to stay on the fingertips so that we're maybe relieving some pressure off of the wrist, but we could always flatten the hands wherever we are. We might just want to check in with the alignment to prevent injury. So as we slide the hands back, the thumbs are moving past the hip line, fingertips stay forward. Sometimes the body naturally wants to rotate out. This could actually increase a risk of injury to your rotator cuff and pec muscles. So we do recommend that you keep your fingertips slightly turned in. This also helps to protect the energy of the throat, which is for healthy communication, healthy internal-external dialogue, vishuddha. From here, we're just going to let the knees sway left and right, activating some energy in the lower limbs and in the lower part of the body while the upper body stays stabilized and secure. Adding in breath with movement with this twist. Exhale as we twist. Inhale as we move through center. Adding in ujjayi if you like. Inhale through the nose, flare out the nostrils. Exhale from the throat. Now you may or may not be able to hear when I do ujjayi breath. For the most part, I'm pretty conservative with mine. I avoid any excessive constriction of the throat region. Some people do perform this breath with a little more audible sound. Being that this is our early morning class, I'll recommend that maybe we just practice it a more conservative way so that we're preserving the energy that moves up from the heart, in through the throat, and up to the mind. Let's build up with a conservative approach, build up the energy through the lower chakras, through the hips, up to the heart, and then we'll be able to have that reservoir or that pranic force, and we'll be able to open it up more during meditation. Let's take it a few more times to each side. Inhale through center, exhale ujjayi. Take your sweet time, even it up on left and right, reminding ourselves, reminding our bodies that we're going to move whenever it wants to move, and we'll allow the body to be still whenever it wants to be still. At your leisure, take the body over to one side, and let's come around into all fours position. If you're noticing any tenderness in your wrist or even in your shoulders today, we can use our blanket, propping up with the heels of the hands and allowing the fingers to kind of dangle lightly and effortlessly over the edge, taking the knees out to hips width. And maybe we tuck the toes under or keep them untucked. Let's allow the body to choose for us today. Hinging from the belly again, As we inhale, drop the belly, flip the hips back, lift through the heart, looking just a little bit forward into cow. As we exhale, pulling up from the navel and rounding the spine in cat. Moving through this a few times mindfully, encouraging that hinge at the midline of the body, manipura. Again, allowing the breath to be our guide, the life force, the awareness of the breath is our ultimate guide. As long as we're breathing, we're doing yoga. If you're noticing that your body wants to be still at any point, maybe you're curious and want to explore a stretch from a still place, allow the body to have that moment. Let's do a few more through cat and cow. Hinging from the belly, massaging the abdomen, massaging the intestines, opening and massaging the kidneys and the adrenal glands. Maybe just one more of each. Continue on with cat and cow if your body is telling you that it needs a little more. Otherwise, we can experiment by coming into neutral spine and adding in just a little more massaging of that energy in the trunk of the body. Let's take our left arm up, opening up just a little bit. We may want to have a deep bend in the elbow if we're noticing any tension in the shoulder or neck, shortening the lever length. Inhale, open. Exhale, weave that hand through and look in the direction of the twist towards the right. Inhale, come to center. Exhale, place the hand down. Let's flow this. Inhale, switching sides, opening up, looking in the direction of the opening. And then exhale, sweeping through, gazing gently in the direction of the twist. Inhale through center. Exhale, ground the energy at neutral, hasta bandha. Inhale, opening up. Exhale, gentle trunk rotation. Inhale, come to neutral, ground the energy. Inhaling other side. Exhaling, twist. Let's wring out the spine. Inhale through center. Exhale, ground the energy. So let's do this a few more times. And it is repetitive, and we definitely are going to give ourselves enough time to move with our own unique breath. The whole purpose or objective of any yoga class is for each of us to acknowledge our felt sense, our body sensations as the guide and as the teacher. And we're all creating our own personal practice in this group class. Again, waiting for the breath, observing the breath, observing when is it time to inhale, then it's time to move. When is it time to exhale, then it's time to move. Take your time in completing one more set, absolutely no rush. When it feels centered for your body, let's find any still point. From here, we can touch the toes together and take the knees out a little wider, maybe as wide as the hips or a little wider. Then slowly let the hips press back towards the heels. We may even want to walk the hands out a little more in front of the body, opening up a little more through the side body and the trunk of the body. You can relax the head down towards the floor. You can turn the head left and right. Notice what movements and what positions help you to move towards comfort. When we feel comfortable, ultimately the body is feeling safe, the body is feeling secure. And from that place is where we move with the most confidence. That's how we build the energy that contributes to a healthy self-esteem and to a healthy metabolism. From wherever you are, let's slowly shift forward. Draw the knees in under the hips and let's separate the feet behind the ankles, pressing back, hips towards the heels, inhaling forward into a kneeling plank, and maybe tucking the toes under and lifting the knees, coming into a little bit of a higher plank. Exhale, option to lower the knees and press the hips back, actively hinging from the hip joint. Inhaling forward, option to have the knees lifted, and then exhaling back. If you'd like to maybe experiment with this a little more, from child's pose, we could always come forward into that plank and then take it back into down dog instead of child's pose again. Inhaling forward into a plank or into a kneeling plank. And then exhaling back, child's pose or downward facing dog. Let's shift forward and back just a few more times. Continue to inquire with the body based on the quality of the breath. What does the body want in each moment? When we say this is my yoga practice, that's the ego imposing itself onto the practice. But when we acknowledge the body, the sensations of the body, this creates more of an intention of respect and ahimsa in the practice. Asking the bliss body, the soul, what it needs today. Let's do one more. Let's find our foundation of either a down dog or child's pose to reset the energy of the hips. Notice if you're in down dog, you're welcome to do a little bit of walk the dog. So we're adding in just a little bit of a ankle stretch. And if we're in child's pose, we can have that same effect of a stretch by coming forward. And maybe we just take one leg back at a time, tucking the toe under, rolling back through the ball of the foot. So we're creating just a little bit of an active shift left and right through the hips, energy feeding in through Padabandha, through the foot lock, and letting it shift left and right, pendulating the energy. Maybe just one more on each side. Y'all know the advanced version, right? Gently lifting the edges of your mouth. Same face, all poses. Even this out for your body on left and right. When it feels right for you, let's find that centered point. Reset the hips, down dog or child's pose. Option to look between the hands, and you might want to jump forward if you're in down dog, or let's take our sweet time and step forward 1 foot at a time from the lunge approach. Let's press the hips behind us, place the hands on the thighs or the shins, providing support, providing integrity to the spine. Hang the head loose. Shake it yes. Turn it left and right. Let's come up about halfway. And we may even want to put the hands up on the thighs if they've been on the shins. Come to any point where you're able to experiment with lengthening out the spine, finding more of a neutral or flat back. When it feels right for you, let's take the arms to the side, reverse swan dive. Inhale, rising up towards the sky, reaching the fingertips up dynamically, spreading out the fingertips like a 5-pointed star. Let's establish our foundation of mountain pose on the yoga mat, which can be interpreted as the feet at the width of the pelvis bones, or it could be the feet open to the width of the fleshy hip. So go ahead and check in, and remembering that at any time we might change our minds. The body might signal to us that it wants a new foundation with a subtle shift. Let's open up through the fingertips as we reach up. Uttita Tadasana, extended mountain. From here, reach with just the left hand Exhale, lower the right hand down. Let's bend the left knee, dropping the left hip, allowing the energy to shift and sway over to the right, opening up the left side of the body, digestion and elimination processes. We can look up, straight ahead, or down over the right shoulder. And maybe just for today, choose the path of least resistance so the neck stays comfortable. Inhale into your upper left lung, under the armpit, big breath in. One more like this. When you're ready, let's slowly lower the arm, straighten the legs. Let's find Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhale, taking the right arm up. Let's sweep it back and around, opening up that humerus bone inside of the shoulder socket, reaching straight up through the fingertips and maybe reaching with your hand as if you're going to be putting in a light bulb. So there's a little bit of rotation in that energy of the hand and the arm, moving from the foot up through the shoulder and straight up through the fingertips. Let's open up the palm of the left hand, bend the right knee, dropping that right hip, opening up the liver, choosing a steady gaze with comfort, either up, ahead, or over the left shoulder, exaggerating the breath, pushing it up against the upper right lung, push the breath under the right armpit, feeling as if you're able to flare out the lungs. Opening up the liver. So if you'd like to experiment with a little visualization here, inhale blue light down to the right side of your body. And then as you exhale, see red light leaving. This is a technique used to release anger, any subconscious or conscious anger. Usually it travels to the liver. One more big inhale, blue light coming in, the breath pushing against the side lung. And then exhale, red light oozing out from the body. Maybe even simply affirming, let go, parigraha, let go. One more inhale. Exhale, let's release the arm, straighten the legs. 3 breaths, just to sweep the arms and reset the body, get the chest open. Exhale, back and around. Energy moving from the belly through the ribs up to the heart harmoniously, opening up all energies of the body from the lower hips, through the ribs, up to the heart and the throat. Ujjayi breath, if that feels right for you. Inhale through the nose. Exhale from the throat as if you're going to say ha or fog a mirror, but keep the lips lightly touching. If you know that you've been stressed out and maybe you've had some tension in your jaw, your shoulders, or even down the sides of your spine, exhale with the mouth open. Exhale as if you're going to fog a mirror. Bend the knees a little bit with each movement. Knees are known in psychosomatic energies to harbor stubbornness. I know some of you said, I don't believe that. Well, okay. Knees are known to harbor stubborn energy. What is stubborn energy? It's fear. It's fear that keeps us from moving forward. It locks the knees out. So keep a little bend in the knees. Big inhale, just one more. And exhale. Let's bring the hands together at the heart. Step the feet out, maybe just to the width of your mat or a little wider. Let's establish a pretty conservative standing straddle with the feet. Both the toes are forward. Let's take our left toe and turn it out to the side, creating a perpendicular foot position for the body. Hips are open, pelvis is stretching, belly is opening. From here, we might want to ground the hands on the side waist or hips, grounding the energy in the lower chakras. From here, let's bend the left knee, adding in a little flow to this. Inhale, take the Left arm up as you straighten the left leg, reach dynamically through the fingertips. Then exhale, bend the left knee, and we can lower the hand or the elbow to the thigh. Inhale, open through the right side of the body. And then inhale, come up through center. Exhale, ground the energy, warrior two. Inhale, straighten the left leg, reach up. Exhale, side angle pose, almost like a little cartwheel. Inhale, open the body, maybe even rotate back a little bit. When you're ready, exhale, slowly come up, maybe even an inhale in there. Establish warrior two. Turning the left palm up, inhale, straightening the left leg. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, little rotation with the inhale. Maybe hold it there with the exhale. Inhale, rising up. Hold it there, establish warrior two. Find the breath. Inhale, coming up, big breath, reach. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, open with the twist. Exhale, you can hold it here, or if the body feels ready to come up, come up. At your leisure, finding warrior two. Maybe just one more. Inhale. Option to embrace stillness at any time. Option to let go of the flow. Option to do your own thing. Be with your body in the moment. If you notice any subtle snap, crackles, or pops in the body, that's okay. That's okay. As long as there's no bright lights, nausea, or vomiting, you're okay. The body just does those little things. Let's establish a strong warrior two stance, seeing that our left knee is stacked with the left ankle. Web out the toes, padabandha, strong energy in the body. Pull the muscles up in the pelvic floor, mula bandha. If you've been working on healthy communication, turn the palms up, bend the elbows, shoulders are down and back. And now try to rotate the hands down, keeping the shoulders down and back, then reach out again. So we're working on stabilizing the energy of the throat, Vishuddha. Well, Nikolai Bachman would be so proud, Vishuddha. Let's look beyond the left fingertips, feeling as if you're able to send the breath over the fingertips, steady the gaze, notice any impulse to look away. So we give our body permission to blink whenever we need to blink. However, we're attempting to keep the gaze steady over the left fingertips. Notice any impulse to look away and notice that there is a gap, there's a space between the awareness of the sensation and our ability to act on that sensation. So in that gap is where we recognize we have a choice. There's a sense of agency. We have the power. We affect change in our lives. And this is not only on the mat, this is not only in the yoga practice, this is in all parts of our lives. Let's steady that gaze. 3 more breaths. If you notice the impulse to look away, congratulate yourself. Noticing those sensations is the first step in becoming better at self-awareness. When you're ready, lower the hands to the hips. From here, let's turn the left toe in. Turn the right toe out. The wider the stance, the more we may need to adjust the feet. So maybe instead of perpendicular footing, maybe your heel lines up with the arch of the back foot. No matter where we are, let's pull the muscles up in the pelvis. Activate the muscles, maybe just in the right buttocks cheek. That's right, just the right one. And notice when you do that, how that energy from glute maximus and medius lines up or presses that knee out so it stays in alignment with the right ankle. We want to stack those joints, creating a clean line of energy. From here, let's extend the arms out, web out your toes like a duck. Adding in a little flow here, let's turn the right palm up. Inhale, straightening the right leg. Option to look up. Exhale, side angle, konasana. Taking the right hand to the thigh or the elbow to the thigh. Open up. Inhale, actively rotating at the rib cage. Option to come up on the inhale and then ground in warrior two on the exhale. Option to keep the gaze over that right hand as much as possible to practice that art of awareness of energy impulses. Let's turn the right palm up. Inhale, lean back. Exhale, come forward. Inhale, active rotation. Exhale, option to stay in place or bring it up. Hold it in warrior two. Inhale, it's an adapted reverse warrior. Exhale down. Inhale, rotation. Exhale, option to come up or stay. Hold it here, warrior two, settle into the posture. Mighty Vira Bastrika Devi, warrior two. Inhale, opening up. Reverse warrior adaptation, or sometimes also known as a reverse triangle. Exhale, coming forward. Side angle, konasana. Inhale, open. Exhale, either stay in place or come up. Anchor the pose. Just a couple more. Inhale. Now flow it in any way that you feel is right for your body. So notice, maybe the body wants to hold a position for a full cycle of breath or even 2 cycles of breath. And maybe let go of any instruction that you've had from me and notice if you can allow your breath to be your guide. Can you interpret the body sensations and allow your body to be your teacher today? All of the intelligence, all of the wisdom, all of the instruction that we need to recruit the inner physician and healing, guidance, all of that is in the felt sense. You might even affirm just for a moment, I can trust my body. If that feels strange or a little radical, I am open and willing to believe that I can trust my body. Maybe let's do just one more. Cycle through, give yourself plenty of time. Absolute no rush. Let's meet in warrior two at some point to work with impulse control. So sometimes we recognize in ourselves a little bit of a reactive nature, which means maybe we act without thinking sometimes, and that is called being human. So in order to work with our humanness, what we can do is work with the art of being responsive versus reactive. And this is one way to do that, looking past the right fingertips. So in the moment, commit to steadying the gaze beyond your fingertips. And sometimes it helps to visualize the breath in this exercise. So again, you might inhale blue light and then exhale red light out over the fingertips. Releasing any judgment, releasing any excessive energy that's relative to impulse. Notice any impulse to look away. Try not to look away. Notice the impulse to blink and allow yourself to blink. Notice the choice to blink. Inhale, exhale, breath moving beyond the fingertips. Steady the gaze. Become aware of the sensations in your eyes. Notice that subtle sensation. Notice the body when it says, I want to blink. And it's not in the spoken word that we interpret this. It's feeling. Feeling as if we need to blink and then following through on that action. So there is a sensation that precedes the dialogue. That sensation, that feeling is the most organic intelligence. Maybe just 2 or 3 more breaths. feeling for that moment when we want to blink, or feeling for that moment where we may want to look away. Reminding ourselves, we choose the action. When you're ready, relax the hands, turn the toes forward, maybe inch the feet in a little more. Let's turn the heels in and the toes out. Take the hands onto the thighs and push the tailbone and the hips back. So come down into a little bit of a squat. Let's practice lion's breath. If you've never done this breath before, maybe just watch me once. I promise this is a real breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, stick out your tongue and roar or ha. Shaking the head is actually not optional. It's something that we use to wring out the energy of the throat and to push out or to bring up any negative dialogue that might be stuck in the body or in the subconscious mind. So let's try like 3 of these. Big inhale through the nose. Exhale, lion's breath. I can't see you, but there always needs to be more head shaking. Big inhale. Exhale. One more. From wherever you are, notice if your body is craving another one. You have plenty of time. Go ahead, one more lion's breath. When you're ready, slowly walk the hands in and up. Let's take the feet in and draw the hands in towards the heart. Press the thumbs into the chest. Let your body shift a little left and right. Let the body shift forward and back. Let's become aware of the sensations in the feet. Web out the toes, Padabandha, firmly rooted to the earth. Draw up the kneecaps and just for a moment, notice any subtle preference to lean left or lean right. Reminding ourselves there's no right or wrong. This is just the practice or the art of awareness of what the body prefers. So notice if there's a little bit of a preference. Maybe notice if there's a preference even diagonal or diagonal back or forward. From wherever you are, lean into that place. Whatever the body is leaning towards, lean into that a little more. Let's notice one foot that might be wanting to be that pillar of support in this moment. Stepping into that place. Stepping into that support, that greatness. Slowly begin to lift your other leg, pointing the toe down towards the floor. Let's open up the knee. So the toe might stay down close to the floor or on the floor with the heel on the inside of the ankle, or the foot might be really wanting to come up a little more. We could even give it a little boost. No matter where we are, let's just feel that there's no pressure on the kneecap. This pose can put the knee in a little bit of a vulnerable place. Notice if the hip is hiked, and let's level the hips, level that energy in Mula Bandha. Chakra 1, Muladhara. Hands can come to the heart, or they can go out. They can even be asymmetrical, which means one arm can do one thing and the other arm can do something different. Notice what your body prefers. Does your body need that sensation of expansion today to feel comfortable, to feel balanced and safe? Or does your body need that element of contraction, mudra? Do we need to pull awareness in closer to the midline to experience that comfort? No matter where you are, affirm to yourself, I know and trust what is right for me. In this moment, in this breath, I know and I trust what is right for me. Remember that we can change our minds at any time as the body initiates those subtle sensations and those subtle impulses. We pause to reflect and notice, and we know that we get to choose. We choose the change. Remember the advanced version. Smile with your eyes also. Staying for maybe just one more easy breath. When you're ready, allow the body to exit gracefully. Let's step onto both feet. You can always roll out the ankles a little bit. In switching sides, let's create the foundation, shifting with awareness. All of the energy invested just for a moment into weight bearing into that one side. Option to lift the other leg away from the floor or keep the toe grounded. So there's a lot of reasons why we might want to keep the toe on the floor, apart from just feeling more physically centered or balanced. It could be energetic as well. Sometimes pressing the ball of the foot into the floor creates a little bit of communication in the peripheral nervous system, from the nerves of the ball of the foot all the way up into the hips, and then connecting to the psoas and connecting to those energies that are part of the smart vagus that tell us, I'm safe, everything's okay. Find the breath. Reposition your body at any time, avoiding any pressure on the kneecap. I know that inside arch of the foot fits just perfect on the knee, but we definitely want to move that foot away from the kneecap, as this puts the knee in a very vulnerable position. Notice the position of the arms. So we're building from our foundation, from our feet, up through the hips. Hips are leveled. Arms might stay close to the body, Mudra, or energy might be more expansive in nature, Sponda. Arms might be asymmetrical. They don't have to be symmetrical. Thinking that anything has to be balanced can create a lot of judgment. If we're craving balance in the practice, we're probably craving balance in our lives, and it is more human to be off balance and instead just move towards feeling centered. Where do you feel most centered? The center can change at any time. Balance sometimes has a lot of restrictions. Centered can change. Holding for 3 or 4 more easy breaths. If you notice that your mind is wandering a lot, try closing your eyes. You might notice that the body completely falls out of the pose. You might do a soft drop and roll even. As soon as we close the eyes, we're asking the body to lean on sensation to stay balanced, lean on what you feel to activate the muscles to stay centered in everyday life, rather than trusting what we see, trusting what we feel. In the words of Beth Shaw, our founder and president of Yoga Fit Training Systems Worldwide, there's more to feel than there is to see in yoga. And let's show up for the work in. Let go of the workout. Maybe just one more easy breath. The work in. Swadhyaya. When you're ready, slowly release the legs. Let's establish grounding through the feet. Again, maybe we roll out the ankles. In psychosomatic studies, ankles are responsible for helping us to confidently take the next step forward in life, courageously taking that next step towards whatever it is that is our heart's desire. When you're ready, relax the feet. Let's try 3 sweeping breaths, maybe even closing the eyes, feeling for that centered sensation in the body. Inhale, sweeping up, option to open the throat, and then exhale back and down. Adding in just a tiny back bend to open through the gut, open through the heart, pausing at the top of the breath. Kumbhaka, open. Exhale back. Just one more. Inhale. And exhale. Let's inhale the arms up and overhead. Exhale, swan dive, deeply bending the knees. hinging from the hips, tailbone pressing back, spine is neutral, hanging the head nice and loose. Let's take one foot back at a time and lower our knees down onto the floor, and then come down and lie on the belly for a moment. If you're noticing any distracting sensations in your low back, and distracting sensations might be just a little code phrase for pain. If there's anything that you find is a disturbance to your ease while you're lying on your belly, you could always try taking your blanket or a pillow and place that blanket from the tops of the thighs all the way up through the ribs. Creating just a little bit more of a lift, encouraging a little more space between the hips and the floor. From here, let's bring our elbows down onto the floor underneath the shoulders. And in this position, we are in Sphinx pose, ever so gently pulling forward through the ribs and the sternum, pulling the elbows down and back energetically. Let's press the shoulders away from the ears, opening and revealing the energy of the throat, Vishuddha, healthy communication, both with others by way of the spoken word and body language. Also, healthy dialogue on the inside as we can get into little conversations with ourselves sometimes. From here, as we inhale, let's lift the chin just a little bit, just enough to feel as if there's this subtle opening of that throat energy. Option to gaze forward, or maybe let the gaze drop over your nose, over your cheeks. Option to close the eyes and perhaps trace the path of the breath as you inhale. And notice, where does the exhale come from in the body? At what point are we fully aware of satisfaction with the inhale as we breathe in? At what point, as each drop of breath and each moment of awareness permeates the mind, at what point do we say, yes, I'm satisfied with this. In this moment, this is enough. And then notice the exhale. At what moment do we realize I'm ready to let go? And then we act on that with the breath. There's so much intelligence just in watching the breath. As long as we're breathing, we're doing yoga. We can hold it here, or maybe we introduce some different sensations to the body by beginning to press into the palms. The hands are open like starfish, pushing into the palms and rolling slightly in to the inside of the palm, pressing and lifting the elbows. We may even be straightening the arms into this pretty big expression of cobra pose. Option to open the throat just a little more. Rolling the elbows down, keeping the energy locked around the armpits. You could even practice lion's breath again here with that energy anchored under the armpit. We can open the throat. Stretch out the tongue. The tongue muscles are intimately connected to the pelvic floor, the back, and even the cranial nerves. So we can really manipulate and release a lot of body tension and a lot of subconscious stress with this. It might feel funny, but maybe let go of any judgment. So think of this as a playful funniness, a playful awareness of the body. Big inhale. Exhale, tongue out. One more. Someone asked me one time if that was just for kids yoga. It's for adults. It's for everybody. It's yoga for everybody. From wherever you are, let's lower the elbows, push into the tops of the knees, and maybe tuck the toes under to get a little bit of a boost of the hips. Let's press the hips back towards the heels, Reposition the body in any way to establish your body's interpretation of child's pose. And we may still be reaching out, or maybe this time the arms want to come in just a little bit. Again, we could let the head relax down, or we can turn the head left or right. As we're holding any expression of child's pose, we're staying here for about 5 to 10 breaths. And in this time, take a moment and breathe into the back side of your lungs. Breathe into the low back, breathe into the middle back, breathe up into that space under your armpits and even between the shoulder blades. So it's a 3-part breath moving along the back sides of the lungs and energetically using this to massage the kidneys, massage through the adrenal glands, massage all of that water element in the body. This is considered a vata season. It's very dry and cold in most places. So we want to really encourage or enhance the element of hydration through this entire practice. Say it with me, everybody. I love hydration. Hydration. Breathe into the low back, middle back, upper back. Exhale, soften the upper back, middle back, lower back. 3-part breath on the back sides of the lungs. From wherever you are, take your time to come up into all fours. And from seated, let's slowly come around. From seated, we might want to lie down on our side instead of coming back like so. We could always experiment with a different way to lie down on the floor. So from seated, coming over to one side and then slowly turning towards the floor and using the arms, using the limbs to guide ourselves down into a side lying position. If you have a pillow or a blanket nearby, I recommend grabbing that. Also, as we are at this point down to the floor, eventually we're moving into final relaxation and meditation. So go ahead and get all of your props close to you that you think you might want to use in final meditation. From lying on our side with the knees bent, no matter if it's left or right, take a moment to take the top arm. Inhale, sweep it overhead, reach and open from that side rib. You could even take the arm that's under you, maybe slide that shoulder out. So there's just a subtle rotation here. And then take that hand onto the rib or onto that armpit region and breathe into that hand under your armpit. Encouraging as much movement in the ribs as possible. Maybe even see the ribs like an accordion. So as you inhale, there's this flaring. And as you exhale, there's this contraction energy just underneath the armpit to the side of the rib. Let's bring the head to neutral and draw the chin in just a little bit. Jalandharabandha, the throat lock. If you'd like to experiment with a little more detoxification here, we have just a little tiny detox technique called Uddiyana, a belly lock that we can practice here. To do this, we exhale all the way, the chin is down, we pause, pull the belly button in halfway, and then rapidly pull it up under the ribs. And then hold it. There's no breath here. It creates a vacuum. When you're ready, release, inhale. Exhale, pause, belly button in, quick pull in and up. Release, inhale. Exhale, Pause, Uddiyana Bandha, belly in and up. When we release, it creates a vacuum, a filling of the breath. Maybe just one or two more. If this is a newer technique to you, or if it's something that your body is still getting familiar with, you could always just exhale and then act surprised. Surprise! And then release. Maybe just one more. Pause, pull in and up. And then release. Let's relax our arm. Now, to transition to the other side with the least risk of injury, all we have to do is slowly use the knees at center and then roll over. I'm going to come up, that way you're able to see me and walk through the instruction with me visually. If you can't see me, it's okay. You're welcome to follow along with the verbal instruction. No matter where you are from sideline, let's check in with whatever shoulder is on the floor and maybe pull that shoulder out from under the body so we're able to flatten onto the scapula, flatten onto that flat bone. Did y'all know it's the flat bones in the body that are responsible for making most of our red blood cells? Random. So we have the shoulder blades and we have the sternum area. Those are our flat bones. When you're ready, let's take that top arm up and then overhead. Inhale, reach. Side lying lateral flexion with a little twist. We can take that bottom arm and place it under the armpit or onto the rib. Pull up a little bit on that rib. Maybe even feel your top hip dropping away to open up the side body. So you're either opening up through the intestines or you're opening up your liver. No matter where you are with this, this is a free spa treatment that you're able to give to your body this morning. Let's breathe into that hand under the rib and by the armpit. Actively flaring out the ribs. Think about what a fish looks like, what fish gills look like as it's filtering water through the body. Again, thinking about water, that element of hydration, that element of fluidity, and the element of buoyancy, the ability to rise above it all and just float effortlessly through life. Flare out the ribs with the inhale. Contract gently, effortlessly on the exhale. Let's look down, feeling that the head and the neck are relaxed. The chin is in, preserving the energy of Vishuddha, activation of throat lock, Jalandhara Bandha. Adding in that gentle detoxification with a belly lock, Uddiyana Bandha. Exhale all the way. Pause, navel in, belly up and in. Release. Now, you'll know that you're doing the true belly lock if, when you release that belly contraction, you feel like a filling of the lungs with almost a vacuum or a bellows effect through the trunk of the body. If you're not getting that bellows effect, you're still getting the essence of the muscle activation by pulling the navel in and up. So no matter where we are with that belly activation, we're just touching and manipulating the energies of manipura and the energy of tapas, energetically doing this to create more ambition, endurance, perseverance, greater sense of self. Inhale, exhale, pause, belly in and up with no breath. Relax at any point. Hold it a little longer if it feels right for you. That holding is called kumbhaka. So you can suspend the pranic force, suspend the energy for as much as you want. Maybe just a couple more. Inhale. Exhale. Pause, lips pressing gently, belly in and up. Release whenever it feels right for you. Maybe one more, maybe two more. Or maybe just relax altogether. Notice when your body is done, when your body says, I'm done, be done. From here, we're moving into supine position, lying on the back. We might want to keep the knees bent. So bending the knees is often used to take tension out of the low back. At any time, if you're noticing that you want to stretch your legs out, you can maybe even stretch out like a stick for a moment and just lengthen the whole front of the body. If you have any extra props around you at this time, you might want to cover up with a blanket, use that extra blanket as a pillow. You could even lie flat on the floor, use a pillow. So the recommended props today for this class was 1 pillow and 2 blankets. You could use a pillow behind the head, 1 pillow under the thigh, so the knee joints are just draping over that blanket. And then cover yourself up. And if your blanket is a little short, here's a trick that I have that I use a lot in yoga class. If your blanket doesn't quite seem to give you the coverage that you want, turn it on the diagonal. So turn it on that long edge, giving your blanket more of like a diamond shape, which is going to reflect more of the shape of our bodies. And something else you can try today is separate the heels a little bit, touching the big toes, and then maybe tuck that blanket under your calves and under the tops of the thighs. Wrap yourself up like a burrito or a taquito, or a flauta, for those of you who know what flautas are. All right, so it's a tight roll if you're a flauta. All right, so from here, if we're rolled up nice and tight, we need to lift the sacrum, flatten that flat bone, and then walk our elbows back, stretch out the sides of the kidneys and the lungs, and then lie down. Let's cover up. We could have the hands out beside us, palms facing up, or maybe the hands want to come onto the belly for comfort. The chin is slightly tucked in. So again, we're keeping that energy cradled in the throat. We're cradling that energy of Vishuddha by way of a throat lock, Jalandhara. And by doing this, we're able to hopefully just ease or just sort of hush any excessive communicative energy that might be causing a monkey mind. Chitta. Come into any comfortable place for this meditation. Our meditation today is going to move us through the koshas, illusions of self, mistaken identity. So first, let's become aware of the physical body, Annamaya kosha, and just notice any parts of the body that are feeling a little uncomfortable and acknowledge it. Be with that. Say, it is what it is. In this part of my body, I'm noticing a little discomfort or a little disturbance or a little tension. Bring awareness to the breath now. Big inhale. Exhale, pranamaya kosha. Maybe allow the breath to take that tension or to take that discomfort from that body part, pull it up with the exhale, and then press it out. Now notice the part of you that is noticing this process and the part of you that is listening to the instruction. That's the brain. So just for a moment, visualize, imagine that the top of your head can open and you can take out your brain and just set it out beside you, just for a little while. Let's separate ourselves, the part of us that is the observer. Let's separate that from the mind stuff. Manamaya kosha apart from Vijnanamaya kosha. If your brain is super chatty, even when it's outside of the mind space, put it inside of a little see-through, soundproof box. So we're still able to interpret the presence of thought. We're still able to observe the presence without so much back chatter. Now, what is there to feel? If we're not feeling the body, if we're not feeling the breath, if we're not hearing the thoughts, and if we're not watching, if we let go of all of that, what is there to be aware of? Ananda Maya Kosha, pure bliss, the part of us that is transcendent, beyond the physical body, the part of us that existed before we became aware of our existence. Ananda Maya Kosha, pure joy. Breathe in gratitude. Breathe out grace. Be aware of those states of being, love, joy, peace, and gratitude. Breathe in gratitude. Breathe out grace. Allow this to be your truth. I honor the place in you in which the entire universe dwells, a place of infinite love and infinite light, transcendent power with all the potential to heal. We are all in this place together, and we are one. As this concludes your practice today, you might want to just lie here a little longer. Let yourself be embraced by the light. From here, we can close together. Namaste, everyone.